Hello, Facebook friends. Hope you are having a beautiful day and a happy 4th to all of my American friends. Hope you had a wonderful, safe 4th of July. And, I'm just so grateful today. I really am. And, it's just for me, this idea of freedom is evolving more and more every single day. And, it's not just about being free in the sense of doing what we want to do and kind of the personal rights and rights that we have, I guess, as Americans in this country. But for me, it's really about what freedom means in every area of my life. And for me, I'm realizing more and more that freedom is about showing up as me in every situation of my life. And for those of you that are joining me here live today, hello, welcome. Write down who you are, where you live, and what you hope to get out of today. And I'm grateful I get to do these sort of free live coaching talks on Wednesday afternoon. So thank you so much for being here. And what I'm realizing more and more is it's about embodying me. And one of the things that one of my mentors says over and over again, I'm realizing this to be true more and more each day, is that suffering happens when we can't be ourselves. And I really want you to take a moment to ponder that. How is that true for you? Is that true for you? Does suffering happen when you really can't be yourself? And when you think about a work situation, I know I can go back and reflect on my work situations where I felt like I had to walk on eggshells. I felt like I had to be a certain way, perform a certain thing, adhere to some ridiculous standard that someone else had posed. I remember 4 years ago, 5 years ago almost, I was in my own corporate job, and I would come into the office, and I have had children for a while. My twins are almost 12 years old, and this was 5 years ago, but they were 7 years old or so. I remember going to the office, and my boss was, someone who really she lived and breathed work, okay? And this woman would be at the office from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening every single day, and often weekends. And it was painful because inevitably on some level, she expected everyone else to resort to those same standards as her. And I remember when I came into that workplace, I was very clear. It was a 40-hour work week, salaried position. And I made it very clear, I have to leave at a certain time to go get my kids from school, and I have to drop them at a certain time, and I get to come to work and be here, during the work week. Thank you so much for being here. And I want you to just think about what that looks like for you in your life, where it's almost like it's inauthentic to be yourself in that environment. And in that environment, even though, remember, thank God, I posed really steadfast boundaries, because at that time, I had an husband at the time, that worked and traveled for work, and essentially during the work week, I was taking the kids, dropping the kids, and doing all the things that moms do every single day. And I had to drop my kids and pick up my kids, and I made it very clear that this was the time that I could be at work. And now I think about what freedom looks like for me. And for me, freedom means that I get to have a business where I get to be myself. I get to be in a business where I'm not working by somebody else's definition of work and efforting. It's really about creating a business that's really in alignment with me. And when I think about entrepreneurs, and I'm guessing most of you here are entrepreneurs, think about your life. Think about your work. Think about your business. Are you actually enforcing your own standards of how you want to live your life? Is it working for you? Or are you working and living your life in a way that conforms to someone else's standards? And I know for me, when I was, again, in that workplace 5 years ago, where I was with a woman, my boss, that was working 60, 80 hours a week, that didn't feel good to me. And even though I was standing true to my ground, there was this part of me that felt kind of guilty. Like, oh my God, I have to leave now. Oh my God, I have to leave now. And even though I did the right thing, right? I'm a mom, I got to do my thing. I'm signing up for a 40-hour work week. Like, I almost felt guilty of not doing what everybody else was trained to do in that environment. And what's interesting is, as I came into this world of entrepreneurship, I would start enforcing those old standards on me. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate where, especially with brand new businesses, you feel like you have to be on. You're often the CEO and the CMO and the COO and all the things, the salesperson, and you're playing multiple hats and you have to be on. But what I'm realizing for me more and more, it doesn't have to be like that. My life can truly reflect what I want. And that means every single day I get to show up and communicate what my needs are, ask for the support that I need so that my needs are really met. And it's fascinating as I'm watching some clients' journeys today, as they're embarking on another level of entrepreneurship. And there's two clients specifically. I'll kind of share a little bit about what's going on with both of them. And I think you'll relate to one or both, or my anecdote, my examples that I just shared with you. One of them is a commercial real estate investor, and he's been doing things a different way. He's been partnering with people, and he partnered with several people in his business, which you have to do as a real estate investor to really be able to scale time and money. And in fact, I would say with any business. But he was scaling with people and partnering with people that as he, embarked on this journey, and because of the support that I was able to give him, he was able to quit his full-time IT job last year, end of last summer, go full-fledged into commercial real estate investment. And what's happened for him is he's realizing that these partners that he's had in the past aren't in alignment with him. They don't communicate the way that he wants. They don't have the level of transparency and integrity in the way that he wants. And most of us stay attached to old situations because it's safe. And I want you to think of you. Are you staying in old situations because you're safe, or are you willing to really take a risk on yourself and show up in the way that you want to? And for him, it's been a process of uncovering what he wants, realizing that, Karishma, these people are no longer in alignment with me. The way that I want to run my business, the way that I want to serve my clients is different in the way that they want to serve my clients. And Karishma, I think I have to make the hardest decision, and that I have to set them free, which means I really have to set myself free and really have trust in myself to be able to do my business differently. And for him, it's been one of the hardest things. It's been one of the coolest things to witness as a coach. For me to be able to see people in really being able to step up into their light, step up into their power, and step into their own certainty. Stepping into your own certainty. And what that means for me, friends, is knowing who you are. Being able to, if you have true self-worth and self-esteem, that means that guess what? You get to look at you every single day and be like, I've got you. I've got you. And for those of you, and I'm sure a lot of you are in that situation where you've, left really safe, secure workplaces to embark on your own entrepreneurial journey, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of certainty, and it takes a lot of trust in yourself to be like, I've got this. And for him, it's so cool because 5-6 years he was doing commercial real estate investment a certain way. And he's realizing it's not about the what that he's doing. He still resonates with the commercial real estate investment space, but it's about how he's been doing it, who he's doing it with, and he's realizing the source of suffering, which is not being able to be yourself, wasn't about the business that he was doing. It was about how he was conducting the business. Write a yes in the chat if that makes sense to you. How you're doing your business, how you're doing your life, how you're doing your relationships isn't authentic to you. And why is that? It's creating a lot of suffering. It's creating a lot of efforting. And I know for me, every time I have to effort, it means I really can't be myself. Yes, Rob, exactly. And the anecdote example that I give to this client was, I was talking about seasons. And I was sharing with him that certain things have to die in order for certain things to be born. If you think of this beautiful cycle of nature, things die before they're born. Winter, everything dies before there's new growth and rebirth and spring. And yes, Rob, I know for me, I'm a divorced woman. For me personally, my old relationship had to die. And I had to grieve that loss in order for me to be open to receiving the beautiful thing, the beautiful relationship that I have today. And, a lot of us get so stuck in holding on to the old story, the old past. But what if things leaving is actually a gift? And sometimes things have to leave in order for us to see the beauty of what is on the other side. I wanted to share another example of another client who's been with me for a year and a half now. And it's been such an amazing journey watching my client, Eric. And it's just amazing because he came to me, had barely done any real estate investment deals. And within a few short months of working together, he was able to learn how to create income as a real estate investor while still doing his full-time job, while leveraging other people's time, while leveraging partnerships, while learning how to manage his family even more beautifully. And, a few short months ago, he was let go from his job. And it was such a gift because on one hand, he wanted to go all into the real estate investment journey full time and really take that true risk on himself. Really be able to be like, I think I've got what it takes to be a full-time entrepreneur. But while he had the safety of his job, he wasn't able to do so. He wasn't fully ready to do so. And in getting laid off from this job, it turned out to be such a gift about 6-8 weeks ago, where he was able to go all into his entrepreneurship journey, leverage the partnerships, the connections that he'd already made, start networking more effectively. And literally the last 6-8 weeks, he's been able to, make enough income from his real estate investment business to be able to support his family. And what he's expressing is there's such a peace of mind today. There's such a peace of mind in knowing that it's okay to let go, knowing that it's okay to receive and allow things in. And sometimes, we get so scared. We feel like we have to fill that immediate void right away. If you lose friends, for example, you lose a relationship, you lose a loved one, it's really easy for us to look to fill in that void or even lose a job. But what if instead of kind of getting desperate and filling that void, the new partner, new relationship, new friends, even new job, we kind of take a step back and we're able to say really intentionally, what do I really want? And what does it look like to create the life that I want on purpose? And there's so much beauty, there's so much independence, there's so much grace that happens when we take a step back. We don't step into desperation. And we step back into our trust. We step back into our certainty. We're able to look at ourselves and be like, I have no idea. I have no idea how any of this is going to work out because it seems so bizarre right now. But on a deep level, I've got you. And, did you know, and, having done a lot of sales training and sales courses and things like that, one of the biggest things that I hear over and over in terms of sales, and if you're like, I don't do sales, if you're an entrepreneur, you're 100% doing sales, whether or not you're owning it or not. But the number one success for salespeople, the highest paid commission people, the highest, best, most lucrative salespeople is their ability to be certain of themselves. And ultimately what I'm realizing is that certainty in me is everything. To be able to look at myself and be like, Karishma, despite divorce, despite business transition, despite what's happening in my life, ultimately, I've got you and I trust you. And I know that things that are leaving for the best. And I know what's coming on the other side is better than I could ever have. And this is literally the miracles that I get to witness with these clients every single day. My first client I talked about, to be able to let go of these commercial real estate investment contacts that he's worked on deals with for years. And if you're a CRE, a commercial real estate investor, you know that these deals take 5, 10, 15 years to complete. So to be willing to let go of that old story, those old partnerships, those old relationships, to be able to come back to himself, full trust in himself, full certainty in himself, and be like, I've got you, and I'm going to do it differently because I know in my heart that this is not in alignment with me. That takes courage, my friends. And there's lessons of self-advocacy that have to happen every single day. Where life, I know for me, tests me sometimes. And it gives me examples, it gives me opportunities where I have a choice. Do I want to step back into the old someone else? Or do I step into my new story of who I am today? Knowing that fundamentally, I've got this. I've got what it takes to get through my life. I've got what it takes to get through my business. I've got what it takes to be a great mom, to be a great girlfriend, and every other role in my life. And for me, friends, that certainty is everything. Because now it's not about other people outside of me. It's about me within me. And guess what? Who I get to come home to every single day. Guess who I get to wake up to every single day? It's not outside of me. It's that little girl inside of me that really wants to know that she's got her. And that's what I feel this whole journey is about. So I'd love for you to put into the chat any takeaways that you have and how this resonates in your life. How can you show up to be more authentic today? How can you ask for what you need and know that you're going to be okay? And how can you honor what you truly want inside of your heart? For me, that's everything. Hope you have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Lots of love.